Y'all have ball, didn't
We'll call the work session Monday, November 19th to order. Invocation given by Gary Stewart and the Pledge of Allegiance given by Richard Bailey.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day and for the many, many blessings you've given us. Ask now that you will watch over these proceedings and we place them in your sight. Guard, guide, and direct us from the end when we all come to thee. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Praise the Lord.
First item on the work session is a resolution for a one-time pay raise for employees. This is something we do every year, Mr. Plummer, and remember why we do it that way.
The legislature of the state of Alabama, in its infinite wisdom, has made it now impossible to give Christmas bonuses. So, a municipal lawyer many years ago, Mr. Lee, thought, well, if we want to do it, we'll call it a one-time pay raise. Joe Lee was a smart lawyer and a smart man, and this is what we've done since the 50s.
Does anyone have any questions about that? If not, we'll put it on next week's agenda. Go to item number 2, discuss the request to vacate drainage easement. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. First time I've said that, I believe. First off, I represent Paul Wilson. Mr. Wilson apologizes. He got sick over the weekend, still not better today, but he asked that I come down and present and proceed in his absence. He was present at the Planning Commission where we first presented this proposal, which was recommended to this council. This is a little bit broader than just vacating a drainage easement. This is really correcting a drainage problem, and in return, and as part of the fix, asking the city to vacate a drainage easement. I put a little package in front of everybody. It's got a really full-size page on the back, but then some small pages, letter-sized pages on the front. I'll submit to you that the third page of that package is really what we're here about. You can see a concrete drain structure that's 3 or 4 inches above grade. Water not going into that drainage box is what we're here talking about. This is in the Park Place subdivision. This is over off County Park Road. I'm sure everyone knows where it is. If you pass 50 Taters, it's just there on the left. There were to be by the plans that were approved concrete drainage ditches that go to this drain to route water here. This lot and a half that Mr. Wilson owns, it's downhill from everything. It's the drain in the bathtub. Unfortunately, the developer never put the ditches in, and these lots that Mr. Wilson owns have had drainage problems ever since. Now, oddly enough and uncommonly enough, he didn't come before the Planning Commission and does not now come before the council asking for the city to fix it or for money to fix it. Rather, he wishes to fix this with his own money. He's paid for engineering, he's obviously paying me, paid for survey work. He plans to repair this drainage issue with his own money, and what he asks in return is when that is done, that the city vacate a drainage easement that it has there. The drainage easement, if you'll turn over to page 1, it becomes a little unusual in this case because Mr. Wilson actually owns a lot and a half. So while the master plans and the engineered drawings for this subdivision would have any drainage easement on the edge of a lot, well, when you acquire a half of an adjoining lot, all of a sudden you've got an easement that's no longer on the edge of the lot. it's through not the middle, but, you know, certainly not on the edge as I've shown by this drawing. So what Mr. Wilson wants to do and hopes to do is to excavate the underground pipe, 24-inch pipe that's in the existing easement, and instead of an underground drainage system, have the water moving through a channel, a surface drain, a ditch, to get out to the street and then to be rerouted into the existing city stormwater and drainage facilities that are in place on the property. When we presented this to the Planning Commission, the real question was, well, how do you know this is going to work? And I can't remember when that was, but it was back around probably the 1st of October or so, when we had a serious rain event over several days. And I think the answer at that time was, well, I've been out there and watched it when it rained 4 inches over the past 4 or 5 days. I watched it run into that drain. It'll go there. At that point, the Planning Commission said, well, we'll approve this, but we would like to see an engineered drawing. So we sent Mr. Hodges back out. He's done the engineering work that's there on the final page of the submission, which was the only concern that the Planning Commission had, to put in some handling structures that will guarantee that water gets into the collection box and into the storm sewer. I'm sorry, I didn't know Josh was not going to be here tonight, but I spoke with Josh in the last couple of days to ask if the drawings appeared to be correct, if they appeared to be passable.
He did. He spoke to me
Okay.
this afternoon. He's okay with everything, and he had talked to Michael Hodges.
So Josh had said everything looked okay to him, and said he didn't see any need to have Mr. Hodges here since the drawings appeared to be acceptable and within the standards of practice. So in the kind of bring around and put a button on it, Mr. Wilson came to this problem. This subdivision we all know it's had problems. The main one was it ran out of money and went bust when they were developing it. And because the drainage was never done correctly in the first place, Mr. Wilson finds himself with a problem. But uncommonly, though, he's willing to fix it with his own money. And the only thing that he asks is when that does occur, that the city vacate the drainage easement that would be essentially in not the center, but slightly off of the center of his property. His plans are to build a house that's 30% bigger than the other homes that are in the neighborhood right now. He plans to use a goodly bit of his lot and a half that he has there. And obviously, not having a deeded easement under the house or some edge or corner of the house is critical to his plans, and probably couldn't get financing to build the house there if he had an easement underneath it. He also stands ready to, obviously, whatever drainage facilities there, he's flexible as far as how that works. The structures themselves are on the city, so they belong to the city. All that's going to be on Mr. Wilson, to my understanding, is the ditch, the handling facility above grade that takes the water to the street. He understands that that's his responsibility on a going forward basis, and he intends to maintain that and keep that up and keep that working.
Any questions for?
Mr. Mayor, was Josh okay with the concept?
Yes.
And it was passed by the planning.
It was, and they did ask Michael to get involved, or get an engineer drawing, and he did so. Mr. Wilson did do so.
Ms. Parks, would your client be willing to release the city from any and all future liability arising out of the vacation?
That's what he said.
Any other questions? If not, we'll put it on next week's agenda.
Okay, and he apologizes for not being able to be here, but I expect he'll be here next week if anybody has questions for him at that time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
We'll go to item number 3, discuss Goose Pond Island timber. Mayor?
Yes, sir, I had asked to put it on the work session for discussion. I know there's been some discussion back in the summer about getting a timber company to come in, and we'd gotten the Forestry Commission's report on what to do. And what I was asking or seeking from the council is to let the city, for us to advertise for a request for qualifications from timber consultants, and just advertise in the paper that we're seeking qualified consultants to submit their proposal, and then let the council or a committee of the council review that and come up with a recommendation for somebody that would work on our behalf to put together some sort of a harvesting plan and of different tracks, and just make some recommendations. And the reason bringing it up now, it would give them the winter months to put this together when a lot of the foliage is gone, and maybe get a better picture of things.
Anyone have any questions? I know we discussed it quite a bit, and Tony had done quite a bit of research on that as well.
As far as that timber consultant goes, when we advertise that, it'll be going according to the plan that we've got in place. Is that right?
Yeah. And then they would formulate what they recommend and the cycle and so forth. And then, the fees and all would be negotiated, but I'm assuming that would be based on what we sell and when we sell.
They would come and present all that?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? We'll add it to next week's agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Technically, I think you can just offer, I think the mayor can go ahead and do it.
It was within a week, start an advertisement.
We'll go to item number 4, discuss pool deck resurfacing. Mayor, you want to cover this?
Yes, this is the last renovation component for the Redcom. It's the resurfacing the deck. It's sort of like putting the carpet down when you build your house. We've known all along that the deck needed some work and resurfacing, but we waited. We needed the swim season to get over with, and then the high school is wrapping up their season, and the company that quoted this quoted it back in the spring when we were looking at all the other work, and they've agreed to honor that price. It's my understanding, Yvonne, it's like a 3-day process that we would be down, and this is just trying to coordinate it with the holidays coming on. If y'all approve that, it would come out of the bond money that was that $3 million bond money.
Any discussions?
Yeah, I see here, it's got a 5-year warranty, but what is the lifespan once we do this?
How old is that other deck?
I mean,
It's been patched
been,
in some spots.
yeah, we patched it and repainted it several times. I don't really know what the lifespan is, though.
We can,
Can you get that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
for next week.
We can discuss that. I'll put it on next week's agenda. Any other questions?
Did we bid that, or is that just one company that does it that's close by?
that's correct. That's the ones that did the other work at the pool. It falls under the bid law.
This is the public works law, and management is 50,000.
And this is for 22,960.
Any other discussion? We'll go to reports, Mayor.
This was everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over. Mike, I just want to skip right over yours every time. Discuss the elections at the Redcom. Sorry, Mike, you asked for the speaker on here.
Well, I just wanted to bring some of you guys up to speed on some complaints that I've had about the Redcom during the elections. We're using the gym on the Parks Avenue side over there. the sidewalks are about 4 foot wide, 5 at the most, and you got people coming in, people going out of the same door, and if you open up the other door, it's just to a landing, you're still on that one sidewalk. Well, the election before last, the gentleman fell and ended up in the ER. And, excuse me, this last election, a lady fell, bruised herself up, broke her glasses, and the handicap accessible part, you have to make about 2 turns or 3 to get into the building. And I think we need to think about doing some improvements to open up more sidewalk, having it better accessible to the general public. You have people that have a walker or a cane or a wheelchair. You're having to fight the traffic, and you're having to fight us politicians that's talking to everybody that's going in and out. Myself, I'd rather see the elections take place at the other gym, the one there in the middle. It's easier, more accessible, and I think people could pull up there, and if you had someone that had a hard time walking, they could let them out and then go park. But the gym on the other end, there close to Parks Avenue, it's kind of a bottleneck. You've got cars coming in, cars going out, and it's kind of congested. So I think we either need to do some work on the Parks Avenue end gym or open it up for the other. And the reason I bring this up now, I know it's 2 years till another election, but there is a possibility any time that you could have a special session called, a special election called, and it could be next year. So I'd like to see something done, and maybe get y'all to go by and look at it and get your thoughts on it.
Is there a reason why we go to the new gym as opposed to the old gym?
No, they just, the first ones that we had in the old gym, and then we moved them to the new gym, and I think they just wanted to get one central location selected, and that was the optimum, I guess, because it was newer.
That's all I have.
All right. What I'd like to do is form a committee and put you on it, Mike, and the mayor, and Yvonne, and Greg.
See what the improvements would cost versus.
Yeah, look at all the options
Sure.
that we may have. Thank you for bringing that up. Sorry I skipped over. Now we're ready for reports. Mayor, sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I don't really have anything to add.
Richard?
No, I don't have anything, just a happy Thanksgiving, and just remember how blessed we are here.
Greg?
I got a list. I wanted to recognize our student athletes that have been competing for the past couple of weeks and getting ready for state. I apologize to the cross-country team, but I want to recognize them. And of course, when I got to research, I realized there's a lot more to it, just congratulate them this year.
Oh, yeah.
But the girls have won 22 state championships, and this is their second. And the boys have won 13. They've got some work to do. The girls, this is their third straight. And they start conditioning in June, and it goes all the way through November. So we're certainly proud of them and what they've accomplished. The other, of course, when you start one, you got to finish up. There's always some more. The other one I'd like to recognize is the swim team. And they competed in the sectionals this past week, and they got first in overall points, and that's class 1A through 5A. So that's a big accomplishment also. And the girls, they were second, 1 through 5A, and then the boys placed third, 1 through 5A. And they'll be, I think there's 16 that's competing in the state. Just, I guess, the first week of December, looks like, or in the first of December. And then the cheerleaders, they competed in the sectionals last Thursday, and the junior high got second place, and the varsity got third place. And they'll be competing December the 15th at state. So we want to congratulate all those and for the work they've done, and their parents. It takes a lot, and the community's really behind them, and we appreciate that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Gary?
No, just thank y'all for coming, and I hope you have a very nice holiday with the family. Everybody be careful, be safe, and enjoy it.
Same here. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
I have a couple of things. I'd like to have a budget meeting next Monday at 5 o'clock, so we can try to get the last 10% approved. And then I have a list of the department assignments for councilman. The airport, Mike Ashburn, you're the chair. Gary Stewart, you're on that. Mayor Shelton, you're on all these, if you don't mind. That's all right. Cemetery, I'm the chair. Richard Bailey. Administration, Richard Bailey's the chair. I'm on that as well. Economic Development, I'm the chair with Greg Ashburn. Fire Department is Gary Stewart, he's the chair with Mike Ashburn. Police Department is Richard Bailey, he's the chair with Mike Ashburn. Infrastructure is Gary Stewart, chair, I'm on that committee as well. Recreation is Greg Mashburn is the chair with Gary Stewart. Oh, thank you. Two more. Public Works, the chair is Greg Mashburn with Richard Bailey. And the Community Development is Mike Ashburn is the chair with Greg Mashburn. And just to reiterate what everyone said, just hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and hope to see you next Monday. We're adjourned.
Too much there.